For every seat, there is a story.
Some already finished.
Some waiting to unfold.
All of them needing to be told.
It's not just another seat.
It's the place.
The identifiable physical place.
The place.
Where the spiritual can happen.
Because it's not just another seat.
It's the place.
Where someone encounters God.
It's not the place where the story begins.
Or the place where it will end.
It's the place where life changed.
Where life became new.
Where death became life.
Every seat represents a story.
It's time to start making room for more stories.
Time to start making room for hurting hearts.
It's time to start making room for people to encounter God.
It's time.
It really is time.
Now.
Not later.
Not someday soon.
Now.
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 We've been waiting.
He's been waiting.
Hurting people have been waiting.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
Now.
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 Now is the time to build.
Now is the time to build.
Now is the time to build.
Hello, and thanks so much for opening up your home to us and allowing us to come and be with you for a few moments today. I wish that I could speak to each one of you personally, but instead I'm going to send my greetings through this video. You know, it all began back in 1948 with a group of people who committed themselves to pray, and they began to believe and imagine what God could do through a church who was passionate about reaching out to its community with the love and the hope that only Christ offered. In 2000, when Elizabeth and I came to Cornerstone and we became the pastors here with you, we were captivated by the heart and the vision that this church had to reach out to its community, a vision that had been established by those who came before us. Now, we're driven by this God-given desire to build a truly multicultural church, a church that would commit itself to loving God and to loving people. And Cornerstone has become just that kind of a church. We're a church that's committed to prayer. We're committed to passionate worship with exciting ministries for children and young people, students and adults, families of all ages. And we're a church who's committed to reaching the lost, those who are in need in our community and around the world. And today, over 1,000 people call Cornerstone their church home. And every seat tells a story of hope, a story of change, a story of transformation through the love and the power of Christ. You know, our growth has required that we make some changes here on our current campus by moving our worship service out of the original sanctuary and into our Christian Life Center, adding services, sharing ministry space all over the campus. We've maximized the facilities here on our current property. We've used every square inch of building that's available to us. You know, our facilities, though, are not the only area that we've outgrown. Parking has been a problem. And again, we've maximized every piece of property available to us. The reality is we're just flat out of space. This growth has brought us to a very important decision, a decision that it's time for us to relocate our campus. You know, we're a church that has always waited on God and waited on His timing. We've been faithful to what He's given us through the years, to manage the resources, to manage the facilities that He's given us to do His work. And man, has God certainly been faithful to us. And we believe now we hear God saying, Cornerstone, it's time. It's time for you to build. We're standing on what represents God's provision for our future as a church. This beautiful 54 acres, only 2 miles east of our current location on Lexington Road, will be the home of our new Cornerstone campus. And God has made this land possible in an amazing location, positioning us as neighbors to Athens' newest park, residential communities, and shopping areas. You know, we have what this community needs, and that is the love and the hope that only comes from a real relationship with Jesus Christ. From this location, we will continue to love, to grow, and to help as we reach out to the needs of our growing church family and the community that God has placed us in for many generations to come. You know, as a pastor, my passion and my role is to build people and not to build buildings. And I know that this new campus is not just about a structure that's made of bricks and mortar, but it's about having a tool that allows us to continue pouring into and building the lives of those that God is sending to us and leading us to. And with this as our focus, this building will be one of excellence and not of extravagance. With that in mind, I'd like to ask you to take out the materials that we're giving to you, and I'd like to walk you through the Time to Build brochure and share with you a few of the great opportunities that are laying out in front of us. If you'll turn to the back page of that brochure, you'll begin to see a glimpse of the first phase of our plan. I want you to begin to imagine and to believe and to see what happens when our prayers become realities and our giving begins to create a legacy and our ability to impact our community expands. The first phase of this plan will give us an auditorium that will seat 1,000 people. That's double the capacity of our current sanctuary. Consolidated into this new building will offer a state-of-the-art college, youth, children, and preschool facility. It's also going to offer educational space and rooms for small group meetings and fellowship. The building will also provide us with an enlarged area for community feeding and education, extensive parking and covered drive-through areas, rooms for continued expansion. Now I want you to take your brochures and turn them over and begin to look at the inside pages while I answer some questions about the cost and the timeline of this project. Step one will be to have the mechanical renderings drafted. These renderings will make the city aware of the plans we have for our new property. The drafting process will take us between 3 to 6 months to complete. Step two will be to meet with the city, have the mechanical renderings approved, granting us the necessary building permits to break ground. Once we've been given the building permits, we'll move to step three, which is to put our current property up for sale. The timing of the sale of this property is up to the Lord. But while we wait on His perfect timing, we must be busy preparing for our next step. Step four will be the building process. When we begin, that process will take approximately 9 to 12 months. We anticipate the total cost of the first phase of our project to be approximately $5 million. Our real estate holdings minus our current debt leave us with assets estimated at $2.6 million in our current location. Now, our minimum goal is to raise $1.5 million, which would leave us with approximately a $1 million debt. However, we believe the most God-honoring goal is to raise $2.5 million, which would allow us to move on to our new campus debt-free. You know, I believe we can do this if we do it together. Standing shoulder to shoulder, looking through the eyes of faith, each one of us doing the best that we can to see this vision become a fresh reality. So at the end of the journey, we'll know what it means to experience a miracle and accomplish God's purposes for Cornerstone. You know, this Time to Build campaign is going to cost all of us something. Our time, our energy, and our resources as we pray and we work and we sacrificially give. And as we faithfully manage everything that God has entrusted us with, I know that He will honor us all the way through this journey. You know, we come to a very important question now, and that is, what part will you play? Where do you fit in on the team, and how much are you willing to sacrificially give to see this God-given vision become a fresh reality for our church? That's a challenge that must be answered through prayer and the Spirit of God as He speaks directly to you and to your family. But I fully believe that every need is going to be met as each person commits themselves to give in obedience and in faith. And I believe the same God who teaches us how to give by faith, He'll also give us creative ways to raise the funds that are necessary through special projects and overtime and selling things and unexpected income, promotions, and new opportunities for advancement that God is going to send our way as we act in obedience and faith. On the weekend of January the 23rd, we'll be having our commitment celebration. That's the day that we'll begin to walk out the will of God by faith over the next 3 years. On that day, I'm asking that you'll bring an envelope with your first fruit offerings and your commitment card enclosed to one of our 2 morning worship services. This day will be one of the greatest days of miracles in the history of our church. I hope you won't miss that day. If it's not possible for you to be with us that weekend, please mail in your offering and your commitment card before the weekend so it can be included in the grand total. Notice the theme of our time to build emphasis: equal sacrifice, not equal gifts. While we certainly cannot all give the same amount, we can all give an amount that represents a real sacrifice for each one of us. The amount will be a very personal matter between you and God. Please understand that every gift, every commitment, regardless of the amount, is equally important. The amount that we give is far less important than the attitude we give with. Let me close by encouraging you to do three things. Number one, please read or reread through the brochure completely. Number two, hold a family conference and discuss and pray about your commitment together. If you have children, involve your children in the discussion and the decision. Number three, please pray and fast and read through your time to build daily devotion during our 21 days of prayer and fasting. Listen to the Lord as He reveals to you the part that He desires you to play and the amount for you to commit to its time to build. You know, God has made history with Cornerstone, and He is continuing to do something exciting through this church. And this is your opportunity to be a part of His story. It's time. It's time to build. And we, by faith, we can own this dream. And together, with the promises and the help of God, bring even more hope and healing and restoration to our community and around the world as we continue to reach out to those who don't know Him and lead those who do into a growing relationship with Him. Remember, with man, it is impossible, but with God, all things are possible.